Hi, if you are an English learner and you want to improve your pronunciation and accent, it's a very exciting day today because I have a fellow accent coach with me, Jasmine Taylor. She is living in California and she is a speech language pathologist and accent coach. So, welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. Um, just a wee bit correction. My last name is actually Tyler.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Tyler.
And yes, I get that mistaken all the time. So I am a speech language pathologist. I've been practicing SLP for the last 8 years. And my focus has been in the schools. And um, this is a culmination, my business, Cultural Crossroads, American Accent Training, is a culmination of my experience um, in both of my careers. I actually have a career in um, SLP, as I mentioned, but also a career in intercultural relations. And I can talk more about that if you would like.
I think that's good for now, but I apologize.
Okay,
I even practiced Tyler. I was like, Jasmine Tyler. And then when I got on air, I got really nervous.
no
So,
worries.
my first question for you would be, how would you describe your teaching style or philosophy when it comes to accent training?
Okay, so generally speaking, uh, there's a philosophy that speech language pathologists use, and it's called errorless learning. And I think it's a great philosophy, um, actually, for every area of life. And the way it's applied in speech and working with accent um, clients is that you focus on the positive. And so, whenever you get a correct pronunciation of a sound, you focus on that and have them repeat it at least 5 times, repetition in a row. At least that's how I practice it. And so you focus on correct pronunciations and not the errors.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I think it's a good philosophy for life too.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on the positive.
Yeah, a lot of positive reinforcement. And I wrote that
Yes.
down. I was like, at least 5 times. I might start using that in my practice.
Mhm. At least
Yeah.
5 times. And when they start saying it incorrectly, then you stop.
Okay.
It's helping the articulators, learn the correct structure.
Yeah, and then just right off the bat, being able to, okay, I pronounced it correctly. I pronounced it correctly, make it more of a, I guess, like a habit. I mean, it's not quite a long-term habit yet, but
Right.
getting a feel for it. I like that.
Right. And
Yeah.
a self-esteem builder that they're doing it correctly, right? You're always pointing out what they're doing correctly.
Yeah. I like that.
So I have a second one, actually,
Oh,
another philosophy that I hold dear in life and in speech therapy accent work is to have a beginner's mind, to always kind of approach life and new things with a beginner's mind. So to give yourself some grace around the learning environment.
mm,
Learning.
that's good. And I think
Yeah,
when we don't do that, we get so stressed about making mistakes that we don't even take risks, right?
right. It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
So
I like that. Um, Next one is, what advice would you give learners who feel stuck or that their progress has plateaued in regards to accent reduction?
keep heart. It's tough. It can be, it can be tough and overwhelming at times. But it takes time for your articulators to um, connect the new patterns. And so, if you keep that in mind, that it really is about muscle memory and it takes time to develop, try to keep that in mind, deep breathing. Um, and sometimes it's okay to give yourself a break too. If it's just too overwhelming, sometimes just take a break. Um, not away from the training program specifically, but maybe from focusing so hard on it. You know, take
Mm,
that beginner's mindset into consideration and give yourself some grace.
mm. I like that. I like that a lot. And it's so easy to get discouraged when we don't get the results we want as fast. So it's good to just have grace with ourselves and yeah, take it as it comes.
Take it as it comes.
And this is a question, the next one. I'm really curious to hear your response because I sometimes have clients that'll say, or not clients, followers on social media that will say, like, oh, like, I want to get rid of my accent. I don't want anyone to know where I'm from. But then I also see people who say, I don't want to lose my identity because they
Mhm.
believe that if they lose their accent, they lose their identity. So, what are your thoughts on accent reduction versus accent acceptance? Can both exist?
I think they can both exist. I think it depends on, um, first of all, if you're an actor, and sometimes actors really do have to get rid of their accent. But if you're, you know, in a in other contexts, in other professional or personal settings, um, it's not necessary to get rid of your accent. In fact, that probably is not even possible. Um, so I believe that I believe more in accent acceptance as an interculturalist, having worked with a lot of international students and scholars in my previous work. I I understand that cultural acceptance is really important, and I stand by that. I think working with people with accents, you're modifying them more than you're and reducing them, yes, but you're also accepting your own authentic cultural voice. You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
so I think they can both exist. I think you a person who comes to me for training really wants to be successful. And I help them through the suffering because sometimes they're suffering at some point in their life, whether it's personal relationships or work relationships, or they're seeing that um, people aren't understanding them. And there's a personal suffering that goes along with that. So people then reach out to professionals like us to help them through that by reducing their accent, but you can reduce it while still, maintaining your cultural identity. I think both are important.
Mm. And when you say that, like, they're suffering, you mean in regards to having an accent and how it limits them?
Yes. And
Mm.
how the perception of others. So
Mhm.
it might be limiting in certain contexts due to the perception of others.
Like, the perception that others have of them, you mean, or that they have
Yes.
of others?
The
Okay.
perception that others have of them.
Mm. And I think sometimes too, I live in my second language, by the way. I don't know. I don't think I've ever said that. And I think sometimes we yes, people can have a perception of us if we have an accent, but sometimes we think people have a negative perception that they don't. So there's so many like
That's true.
it's complex, which I think is really neat, but it kind of relates to what you said, but it made me think of that.
It's true. But
Mm,
I'd like to
mm,
say that in working environments, like um, I know someone who has a very, very thick accent, and she's in the tech
yeah.
industry, and she's been passed over for positions because even her friends, and acquaintances have a hard time understanding her.
Mm,
So, yes, and she's lived here for a very, very long time, right? And so it hindered her progress in her career and even in personal relationships. So that's what I mean by suffering, right?
yeah. Mm. And oh yeah, we'll do a little follow-up question.
Sure.
Um, When people live in an English speaking place for a long, long time, let's say many years, and they still have an accent, what do you think the reason is for that? Like, but I mean a thick accent that they're hard to understand. Why do you think it's like that?
There are a number of reasons,
Mm,
but it depends on when they started learning English.
mm,
You know, if you start learning English um, before puberty, basically, there's this special time period before puberty, before, you know, we're all learning and growing, and the body is learning and growing. And while you're in this growth spurt, or right before that happens, if you learn another language or more than even one or two different languages, whatever, before that time, you're more likely to sound much more native in all of the languages you speak. And then, so there's like a cutoff point, and I'm not going to say, well, 11, 12, but before puberty,
mm,
that happens. If you learn a language later in life, beyond puberty and later in life, it's a lot harder to sound native in that language. So, which means that you'll have an accent.
mm,
You'll likely have an accent. And then it depends on the person. Some people can pick up languages and they're just like brilliant with languages. They'll go somewhere on vacation and just start speaking like other people. That happens, right? So, and then
mm,
some people, they can go their whole lives living in another country and not be able to pick up that accent. So there are personal differences as well, you know.
mm. Yeah, I love hearing that.
Mhm.
Now we're going to talk about rhythm and intonation. Do you have a go-to technique for helping clients improve their rhythm and can't even say the word, or intonation? I'd love to know.
Sometimes I use several different techniques. It depends on the person and where their difficulty lies. But um, using words like in a sentence as a melody and trying to uh, sing them, basically,
Mhm,
put rhythm behind them and sing them and make it sing songy, you know, kind of thing, or whatever. That helps. Um, it helps, and so does, it depends on what the issue is. But I use clapping. We clap um, between sounds, maybe to give space, you know, and to make sure that you're putting enough space between each sound or each word, things like that. And yeah, it depends. I kind of, because of my training, I kind of intuit what needs to be done in a session, and I just go with it, right?
mm, yeah. Would you be wanting to, if you don't have, we can just save it for a private session, but would you want to share how you do with the clapping, or not so much on the live? We could skip it. We could
Yeah,
skip
thank you.
it. Because I know I have, I read that in books and stuff and I see people do it, but I can never do it. Like I can never follow along and I think, I can't even teach it. The clapping thing. So, we have gone through a bunch of different questions. I'm just gonna show some hellos, give a thumbs up. Just wanted to give some acknowledgement to the comment section. Before I ask you, what services do you offer and how can people find you if they say, you know what, I really want to get some accent training?
Sure. So my website is www.culture-crossroads.com. Have to make sure you put the hyphen between the culture and the crossroads. Okay,
Mm,
.com. And so I offer private accent training, which in a 12 session format. So it's over a 3 month um, quarterly block, actually. So 12 weeks within the 3 months, private accent training. We meet weekly and for 50-minute sessions. And then I also offer accent mastery maintenance coaching, which is once a client has completed the private sessions, then we do accent mastery maintenance. And there are two options: a 6-session package or individual sessions. And this is for reinforcement, advanced speech refinement, and continued progress toward personal and professional communication goals.
Okay.
And
That's so
then,
cool that you offer. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's really cool that you offer continuing like either 6-pack session or one
Mhm.
session, like one off. I've never thought of it that like that, but that's really cool.
Mhm. Yeah. I noticed that after 12 sessions, a lot of clients want to continue work. And then sometimes they have issues that come up at work. They need a presentation they have to work on, or they're doing a job interview, or um, they want me to review something. Um, and I'll do individual sessions for that. But if they want to continue working on like a specific sound, we can do 6 sessions, or they can also come back and do another 12-session program if they would like. But I was going to add that I also offer a comprehensive assessment. So one of my, I have to say, favorite things about being a speech therapist, I really love doing assessments.
Mm.
I am the kind of person that really enjoys figuring out the puzzles. And sometimes I have someone sitting in front of me, and when I work with, in speech therapy, we work with people who have been diagnosed with certain disorders. And so I see someone sitting in front of me, and I do an assessment. And when I write the report, I take everything into consideration, doing interviews with um, family members or colleagues or whoever, and whoever's in their circle. And then I use my, clinical judgment and figure out a diagnosis looking at the standardized assessments that I give. And that, I love that. I really love putting those pieces together um, in that diagnostic way. And so
Mm.
I offer a comprehensive assessment, which is a clinical assessment. It's a clinical assessment. And so it's much more intensive. It's about 90 minutes to facilitate that. And you will get a report from that as well, a clinical report. So it's more for people who want an in-depth look at their accent and speech.
Mm.
And other than that, normally I just give an intake assessment, which is a diagnostic conversation as well as um, some activities to help me figure out, where your difficulties are.
Okay. So you give a 90-minute assessment for accent modification clients. Is that correct?
I do, but that's an add-on service.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, because that's a lot.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
it's it, it's detailed, and so that's an
Yeah.
add-on service. Generally speaking, the intake assessment is a free service. It comes with the 12-session package, you know, and it still pulls on my expertise as a speech therapist.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool. Mine's only 60 minutes. So you're generous. That's cool. Very
Mhm.
in depth. I love it.
It is.
And for those who are watching and you're wondering, what's that website again? I put it down in the description so you can copy and paste it and put it into your browser and you can find Jasmine. So I
Okay.
think we're all, oh, yeah.
There's one more um, offering that I have. It's
Mm.
I also do institutional partnerships, and so I partner with um, universities or even corporations or um, global mobility service providers working with international professionals. And I'm open to doing institutional partnerships as well, and that's also on my website.
Okay. So you'd work with like different kind of institutions and whatnot overseas?
So, yes, globally or even domestically. Hmm.
Oh, that is so cool.
Hmm.
And then she offers, for you guys watching, we forgot to mention, I think it was kind of a given. She offers her services online. So
Yes,
if you're not in California, that's okay.
yes.
It's all online, anyways. All right. So I think we are all done. We have an extra hello from Isaac Flores. I think we're all done for this session. So I want to thank you for coming on. I'll see you as soon as I end the live.
Okay.
And for everyone else who is here, thank you for coming. And all you guys who watch the replay, thank you. And you know where to find Jasmine. It's down in the description. Copy and paste it. See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, Jess. I've appreciated this time. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.